got here right.
I've come to the right place. It's always easy to find a Tesla owner's house. I have got to get me one of those. That is amazing. Oh, fantastic, thank you. Sophie, I think we might need an upgrade to automatic steaming job. Yep, you've sold me. Quite a lot of Teslas around here. Yeah, and they're everywhere. I followed a blue one up the, what was it, A14. So, the point of today's little Tesla get-together is not specifically anything to do with Tesla. It's actually to have some fun with things like this. Before I forget, this is Malcolm, also a Tesla owner. So you've got an Evolve as well.
I copied Mark. Exact same one.
Yeah, and he copied Will. Was the Tesla your first car? Your first electric car?
No, I had an i3 first.
Ah!
The i3 was, I had the first version of the i3, so it was...
first gen i3?
Yeah, so we had the small battery, and in the winter it was getting me to work and getting me back with 1 mile left.
Oh, wow.
When it was really cold. I'd come back with about 5 or 10 miles normally, but when it was really cold, I'd be getting home with no heating on and nothing on, and just scraping home with 1 mile left. So I ordered a Model 3, and then couldn't wait, and ordered a Model S. Still couldn't wait. Went and had a showroom model.
Ah!
Been in the showroom for a couple of months.
I'll tell you what, this is actually much harder than it looks. Managing this tiny little board whilst also trying to shoot video. Very kindly, we've been allowed to ride round here, which is nice. Also, you were just saying about efficiency. Those things are more efficient with...
Put them in fast mode.
Yeah.
Just don't pull the trigger so hard. You can
Yeah.
go slow in fast mode. Like
Cool.
that. And of course then it'll tackle hills alright.
Yes.
It's not really bothered. 25% gradient doesn't bother it.
Yeah, you see, I find with hills, this will not do 25% gradient. The dual motors will, but this one won't. And I actually find if you're going up a hill, you know, you're probably going to go quicker if you push. You'll do some exercise and you'll find you save most of the battery. Yeah. So your 12 mile range will turn into 20 just because you do a little bit of exercise up a hill. Oh, I've got to come here with Jasper now. This is perfect for cycling as well. Thank you so much for showing me this place. What was it called? Ferry Meadows. See, this is a good hill for me to push up. Brakes are such a good idea on skateboards. Or foot braking for that matter. On the flat, the top speed is quite similar between this little board and those big Evolve ones. The difference is the level of terror. Very nice of the Ranger to say that we could do this little round the lake circuit. You see, the trick with something like this is to make sure that you're a reasonable person and that nobody's going to complain. Because if nobody complains, then what's the harm?
We've got all the cables put in. We've got the infrastructure in, they just haven't got the destination charger yet. Yet. But they thought about it when they were putting the car parks down. They put the wiring in. So they knew they were going that route.
Well, anyone with any brains knows they're going that route.
To me, this seems a perfect location for Tesla destination charger.
And electric skateboards.
And electric skateboards, of course. Just good fun. So we'll drop James off at 9, and then because we're not in a rush, we'll go back on the boards, back into town, back up to Peterborough, and there's a really nice Thai restaurant on a floating barge. We'll go and have lunch there on me, yeah?
I'm going to need to get some after school activities for Jasper. This is the second time this has happened. When I went to the Tesla showroom and the EV place, the Chargemaster place in Milton Keynes, guess what? Will and Mark went off around the lake on their boards afterwards, and I had to go back to pick up Jasper. God, it's this working two jobs thing, you know, it's a nightmare. On the efficiency front, all the EVs I've ever driven, I've never put them in eco mode. I hate eco mode because apart from a tiny amount of difference to your heating and stuff like that and climate control, everything else, it makes no difference. Just be lighter on the accelerator and you've got eco mode, but you've got full power and the normal response that you're used to and all the rest of it. Well, thanks very much for
thanks for coming.
Fun time, and see you again soon.
See you again.
Cheers very much, and have fun this afternoon.
We will.
I'm a bit gutted about that. Very gutted. Back to pick Jasper up from his school. Hopefully he's had a good day. That was good fun. I really enjoyed that, going around the lake with Mark and Malcolm. Fantastic. There seems to be a bit of a thing for Tesla owners getting Evolve GT carbon electric skateboards, and they definitely do look like really good fun. For me, the problem with something that is so borderline skateboard is that ride-ons in this country, they're in a bit of a legal grey area. Well, electric skateboards are. Things like segways and swagways, they're definitely not in a legal grey area, unfortunately. They're just illegal, unless you have the landowner's permission. Luckily today, we didn't have to worry about grey areas because we did have the landowner's permission. Really nice little lakey thing that we were going around actually, and they served good coffee, so that was a thumbs up. In fairness, the rule that may or may not apply to something like an electric skateboard is about 150 years old. One of the things that Mark and I were talking about actually was the fact that there is a really nice feel to the Tesla community. Now, I've never owned a car that had a kind of community behind it before, unless you count the Nissan Leaf, and I suppose it did to some extent. Yeah, it did. But back then I was working a full-time job before Jasper had come along, so I didn't really have time to kind of engage as much as I would like. Definitely though, with Tesla, there is a great community. Also, I just wanted to spend a bit of time talking about Tesla's new Supercharger, although really it's only half a Supercharger. It's the 72 kilowatt Supercharger for inner cities. Now, I think this is really interesting and exciting because my suspicion, looking at the way EVs and charging works and the space that's available in cities and things like that, I think for the most part city-based apartment dwelling EV owners are going to need to charge their car whilst doing something that takes 45 minutes to an hour, like for example shopping, and then they'll drive on that battery's charge for the next 5 days a week until the shopping trip comes around again. And I don't see why that system won't work, and it'll get round the need for on-street chargers. There will be slower on-street chargers, of course, but they won't be essential in the same way. I mean, after all, people that have a car in the city often don't drive a huge amount during the week because, you know, it's a city, it's got good public transport and all the rest of it. And besides, the distances are tiny. You know, to get from one side of the M25 to the other is something like 35 miles if you go through the centre of London. So this car could drive clean across the centre of London from one side of the M25 to the other 3 times and back again 3 times on one charge, which is considerably more driving than the average Londoner is going to do in a week. A Supercharger, somewhere I can charge whilst getting my shopping, which is that time when I do want the car in the local area, definitely, because who wants to lug heavy bags back from the shopping centre or the supermarket? So I think that's a really great idea, a really good development, and I'll be interested to see where Tesla actually wind up putting them and giving one a go when they eventually reach the shores of the UK. You look quite tired, chicken. You good day at school?
Yeah, and I'm going out in this garden.
You know, I think this is probably going to be the end of today's video because I've got a fair amount of footage. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye.
No, I fell off because I went to turn that and did that. That was my own stupid fault.